Alright, and hello everybody, I'm the Super27 and welcome to another Dokkan Battle video. So the other day, it was revealed that Vegeta, Big Bang Vegeta, will be the Saiyan Day unit this year. So I wanted to really quickly go over everything that was explained in the producer's letter, that way you guys know what to expect. Should you summon, should you not summon, stuff like that. So before we get into the main meat and potatoes, let's get into his side Baronet unit, which is King Vegeta. Now it is nice that this guy is getting another unit. I believe his only other card he's ever had in Dokkan's entire run has been just the Super Strike. Yeah, these are the only other King Vegetas we have in the game, so this is good. Hopefully he is a very DFE worthy character, so I hope one day he will get that luxury. But King Vegeta, he is pure Saiyans, 3 key and 130 to stats. That's very standard. 3 key and 180 to stats is not bad. He gets an additional 90% to stats on super attack. And then this is kind of where his kit gets a little bit weird. So he is a orb changer. He changes physical to AGL, which can work in your benefit. However, he is a character who needs orbs. So with 3 or more key spheres obtained, he gets 18% damage reduction. That is a very... He might as well not even have this. That's so low. Especially since he doesn't have a lot of start of turn defense. This essentially doesn't do anything. And then he gets another 18% damage reduction with 3 AGL key spheres obtained. So he needs to be put into slot 1, but he's getting almost all of his defense on super attack. Well, you'll see what I mean in a minute. But just having 180 at the start of turn and 36% damage reduction is not good. And it's also not guaranteed. Because what if you have to give this guy 3 tech key spheres, for example? Because you have another character on rotation like Broly, who is another extreme AGL pure Saiyan, who would much rather have orbs than this guy. Then you're just kind of screwed. So there's no... He's built very poorly, in my opinion. He's a very nice support unit, though, because pure Saiyan's Vegeta family get 30% attack and defense and 18% chance to crit. That's good support. And then this right here is also good support. He gets an additional 90 to stats, and all allies get 3 key and 30% attack and defense when performing a super attack if there is a Vegeta in the same attacking turn. That's good. He's a very good support unit if only he were a floater. So, again, the way his kit is built is you need to put him into slot 1. Okay. So he gets 180 at the start of turn, and let's say best case scenario, you give him all of his orbs. That's 36% damage reduction, 180% defense. He's dead. Absolutely. Then he gets another 90% defense here and 90% defense here on super attack. Both are on super attack. And he gets 50% defense on his super attack. So he's getting a lot of defense post super. He might actually be able to tank pretty decently in slot 1 after he supers. But the problem is he's just going to get murdered until he attacks. It's not a very good design. And then if you float him, it's not guaranteed you're going to be able to get him this. If you float him, it's not even guaranteed that you'll get this. There are plenty of times where characters who I float only get 2 key spheres just because I need to save orbs for healing on the next turn, or orbs just fell in a weird way because I had to prioritize orbs for a different character on the rotation. He's just built very strangely. Now, I don't know if it would be better if this was just dodge. If he had, even if it was just a 20% chance to dodge here and a 40% chance to dodge here, for him being a total of a 40% dodge character, if you just had 20 and 20, that would stack together. That would maybe make him a little bit more interesting. You could kind of put him in slot 3 a little bit easier there, but tanking, no. Again, he's built weird, good support, and you only get mileage out of this support if he is in slot 1. This is why I'm saying he wants to be put in slot 1. Because if you have DFE Vegeta, this fella right here, in slot 2, if you're able to super attack with this guy first, then boom, he's getting an extra 30% chance to attack, which is good. That's good support. Again, that's good support. He's giving a total of 60% to stats and 18% chance to crit, which is good. You're just never going to see him, unfortunately. He's not runnable. He's on a couple of categories as well. Pure Saiyans, Vegeta family, Space Traveling Warrior. Storage figures could definitely use help. I could see him actually being run on storage figures, but storage figures is such a dead category anyway. Inhuman Deeds is kind of the same way. He's good for Inhuman Deed standards, but that's just a dead category. And Terrifying Conqueror support is good, but right now, again, Terrifying Conquerors you can't really run. So overall, I feel like King Vegeta was kind of a fumble. He's not good enough at all to be run in current content. I could definitely see him for weaker content, though. He would actually be relatively good. But especially, if I'm saying use Power Creep before 9th Anniversary Power Creep hits global, I can't imagine what JP players must be thinking of this guy. And then before we get into our DFE, I do want to go over the Super Easy A. Now, Super Easy A's are super interesting. from what I understand, is from here onward, the passive skill is the only thing that's going to change. For example, this is what his passive skill was before, just Easy Aid. This is his Super Easy Aid. So, from here on, they're going in, like, chronological order of Easy Aids. Again, this is just how I understand it. So, the Super Attack effect will stay the same, as well as the Leader skill. But just getting a massive passive buff is huge. Like, I would honestly say that this character is runnable now. So let's go ahead and quickly dive into what the Super Easy A for Goku looks like. So he has 2 key and 200 stats at the start of turn. Very good, immediately. Guaranteed crit for 1 turn. Very good, immediately. Super class allies get 20% chance to crit, and then extreme class allies get 10% chance to crit for 3 turns from his first entry. Again, very, very good support. That's good support. He gets an additional 150% attack and defense for 5 turns from his first entry. Very good. Again, he has a lot of stats. Then he gets an additional 150% attack and defense and a 50% chance to launch an additional super attack for 7 turns from his first entry. So he's going to basically be like a short event killer. Right now on like JP, there really aren't short events. All the events are lasting super long. So this would be more good for like global, because like right now the hardest fight we have in the game is Fusion Zamasu. And you kind of have to blitz through him as fast as you can. This character is going to be phenomenal for that. And then after this part of his passive wears off, instead he gets 100% attack and defense upon super attacking, which is nice that he gets something instead of just him losing all of this. He has a 30% chance to dodge, and it's an additional 30% chance to dodge before attacking. So AoE's Fusion Zamasu, put this guy in slot 3, you have a 60% chance to dodge until super. Great. And it doesn't even matter because he's not getting any defense on super, so it doesn't matter. You don't have to give this guy a super attack to be tanky or anything. He will be fine without it. And then he gets an additional 150% defense and a 50% chance to crit for 3 turns after evading an attack. Again, this guy is just nuts. He's wild. I'm very interested to see what he can do since, again, he's not getting any defense on here. Greatly lowering defense will be relevant once we get the 9th anniversary stuff, because there are certain events that you can debuff, but he just looks remarkable for, like, the landscape of global right now. Again, I haven't played JP, so everything that I see is just speculative. I'm basing things on what I've seen and what I've observed and what I understand about how all these different things work, all these new moving pieces, all these big bosses, like characters who launch 3 million super attacks. So there's a character, who is it? It is Trunks. The Trunks Red Zone event or whatever it is, it's called the Blue Zone or whatever. He can lock you into slot 1 and he launches like a 2.1 million super attack. Or Gogeta Blue launches a 3 million super attack. This guy, if you put him into slot 1, granted, you're getting to there deep in the fight, but 60% of the time he's going to live. Because he doesn't super beforehand. Like, a slot 1 super, 60% of the time this guy's going to live. Now, afterwards, it's a different story, because, again, all of these parts of his passive are going to wear off. So, even though he's getting 200 at the start of turn and 150 here, he doesn't have, like, guard, no damage reduction. He's just a pure dodge or die after all of this wears off. Now, hold on. What does total defense be? So that is 350, 500, 650, 650% defense, start a turn. After a dodging, of course, and that's early in the fight. And then again, he's giving guaranteed crits for his first turn, so he's going to just I saw Truth did a showcase for this character on like the private servers or whatever, and he did like a double super guaranteed crit, launched 14.6 millions or something like that, and just outright destroyed the boss. So like crits on characters like this is actually like super relevant. Very, very good. I feel like, again, they really did cook with this guy. Now, unfortunately, I don't think he is on Vegeta's 200%. We're going to look at the 200% in just 1 second. But I don't think he's on his 200%. So, I mean, he would still be on the 170 because he does lead Pure Sand. So let's quit our yapping and let's start talking about this Vegeta. Now, I think I definitely underestimated this Vegeta. I've seen some people talk. I've seen some private server stuff going around this character. I do think my initial reaction, I was a bit too harsh. But I'm not going to completely flip what I think about this character. I'm going to be honest. Him being a villain kind of stinks, right? If we look down here, he is not on any villain teams except for maybe Transformation Boost, okay? He is primarily just a superclass character masquerading as a villain again. This is just like the Broly syndrome from DBS Broly. I don't care how good he is or whatever, he's essentially a superclass character. So villains, yet again, did kind of get the shaft. That's why I wanted King Vegeta to be the DFE because it would help, as well as he's also Extreme Tech. Now, I understand Extreme Tech and Extreme STR do not have very many relevant options, but right now, Corrupt Fusion Zamasu is still one of the best characters in the game. He's definitely, like, not top 10 anymore. He might not even be top 20, if I'm being completely honest. But he's still a very powerful and great option that you can still run. His domain, he becomes completely immune to damage. He does a lot of damage, obviously, as well. He links well with a lot of different villains. He is on Super Bosses, so he's on Broly's team. He's on all these different relevant teams. So in terms of, like, Extreme Tech, I feel like, yes, this is good, but, like, for all these missions where you need to use one of every extreme type, you have Corrupt Merge Zamasu that you are able to run. But what Extreme STR characters do you have? World Tournament Hit? That's not out on Global yet, so I don't necessarily know how good he is, but I've seen plenty of clips of him getting caught later into fights, just because he is a character who relies on guard and high defense, but he only orb changes for like a first couple of turns or something. I don't entirely know how the World Tournament characters work, but that's how I understand it. So like later in the fights, I've seen him get caught over and over and over again. Not to mention, this guy, he doesn't have villain links. He has Vegeta links, so he's not going to be linking well with villains. So even if he was STR, I don't necessarily know how like good he would be doing, because he doesn't have BBB, so plenty of villain characters who would need big bad bosses to be activated, you're not going to be getting it. Brutal Beatdown, which is like a very common attack link. Tough as Nails, like all these different links. I don't know. Him being a villain, like again, I'm a huge Vegeta fanboy, and I'm giddy as all hell that this moment is getting a DFE. It is more than worthy. I've seen some people saying it's not even worthy of a DFE, and I'm like, are you insane? You guys are just Vegeta haters. So I do think it's a good pick and everything. I'm just a little bit disappointed with just some of the things like that. Again, he's not a villain buff. He's just a villain that masquerades or whatever. So if you're going up against like Red Zone, extreme Red Zone characters, he's going to have a little bit extra defensive cushion. But I'm also going to just say this right now. I don't entirely think summoning for this guy is a very smart decision. Because we go over here, we go to Dokkan Assets. Also the day I am recording this, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. It's also their birthday, so hey, happy birthday, Dokkan Assets. I really appreciate you. You were a great help, and continue doing all the great work that you do. His banner, just by looking at it really quick, so these are the like featured units on the like showcase or whatever. So Maj Vegeta has definitely been power crept out, even though he's a 50% damage reduction character. His start to turn defense is just too low. He's not good anymore, unfortunately. God Goku is definitely starting to feel the heat rising under his feet. He is now a 100% dodge or die character. He can't tank like at all going forward. Same kind of with Tanabata Goku. I'm a very big fan of this character, but like I acknowledge that like everything that's coming up, he is way in over his head. At least for some of it. Like some of the longer fights where you're able to get to the Oob transformation, like turn 3, turn 4, that would be a good fight for this Goku, but there are some fights where it's just like out of the gate. If you put him in slot 1, he's going to take like 564,000 damage, and then you're just going to die. And then obviously this is his side banner unit, and then him himself. Again, he is good. He is good. So let's go ahead and pull up. I thought I had it pulled up, but I guess I didn't. So let's get the 200% leader skill tool, and let's look at Vegeta's leader skill. So he's going to be down here at the bottom. I had it pulled up, but I guess I accidentally closed the tab. And let's pull this over. So his leader skill is Vegeta Family and Super Saiyans, 170, and then Pure Saiyans, Battle of Wit, and Master of Evolution is the extra 30%. So the problem is, I'm just going to go ahead and say this right here. If you look down here, launches an additional attack that has a 70% chance of being a super when there's an ally whose name includes Goku, or when there's a Goku enemy. Again, that just further pushes him away from being a super class, or excuse me, an extreme class buff. Because what Gokus are you realistically running him with on his leader skill? Now I do understand the like Super Saiyans, you could run the Super 13 trio. They wouldn't be on a 200%, but you could do that. They are a very viable option as well. But let's just look. Where are the relevant Gokus you're going to want to run this guy with? Because he does have a pretty powerful team, because if you run him, Broly, Trunks, I mean, you could run Future Gohan. Future Gohan is definitely starting to feel the heat under his boots as well, but he's still very good. God Goku's kind of in a very similar situation. And I think this character, I've been hating on this character for forever, but I feel like they actually are about to get a huge resurgence. Just because, like, all these different characters would be able to keep him safe until he could go buff Trunks. Because then once you're buff Trunks, you were A-okay pretty much for the rest of the fight. So this is a good buff for him. But where are the Gokus? You need a Goku? Well, you don't need a Goku, but if you want to see this guy at its maximum potential, let's see. Power Crept, Power Crept, Power Crept, Power Crept. These guys are good. This is probably the Goku you're going to want to run them with, actually. But this isn't out on global. So looking through a global lens, again, like we have this to look forward to, but let's just, again, from the global perspective, we don't have you yet, so global, who would we use? God Goku. God Goku, I believe, is the first Goku on his own leader skill that we could run him with. That would be on a 200%. So yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it. There are a lot of good units on here, obviously, like, again, Broly, which is a good villain. I mean, I guess if you pulled this guy, you could use him. Trunks is definitely in an interesting position right now. His standby is very crucial if you're able to save it till late in the fight, but again, he's not too great. SSBE getting yet another 200% is very good. This is like the second best character in the game at the moment. Are there any like good TURs? Because right now TURs are kind of what I'm the most interested in, because like all the LRs that EZ8 and during 9th anniversary are going to be the best, obviously. Again, you're kind of power crept. You're way out of your meta, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm not really seeing too much. But yeah, his leader skill is much better on JP right now than it is on global. But let's continue on. Actually, before we continue, these are all the 200% he's on outside of himself. Again, this is where the 13 trio came in. This would probably be the Goku you would run him with on global. So you would be able to get that extra additional right there because it does include Goku. I don't know how well this character will be doing moving forward into 9th anniversary power creep, because they lose their damage reduction, I think. I think they only have 30% damage reduction for 5 turns. And then after that, it's just their stacks that they get for the multiple turn defensive buffs on their 18 key. It'll be interesting to see what they can do. But enough yapping, let's talk about what Vegeta can do. So 2 key and 150 to stats at the start of turn. That's kind of low, not gonna lie. He does have guard though. Guard is good. Now this is what I'm decisive on. Reduce damage received by 18% and launches an additional super attack for 3 turns from character's entry turn. I feel like this is so minuscule, it shouldn't impact his ability to tank at all. Like, let's look at a character like 23rd World Tournament Goku, who does have guard, like after his revive, has guard and 1 million defense, and still tanks like 100 million, or excuse me, takes 1 million on super attacks from some of these new bosses. So even if you reduce that by 18%, you're still taking like, what, 900,000 damage? Assuming you're in the exact same position. I don't know, because the thing is, I don't know. Since he does stack, quick spoiler, so it may be easier to get this guy past 1 million defense, but I feel like this is just so minuscule, I feel like it doesn't matter. I've seen some people say that like it's crazy, because the combination of guard and damage reduction is insane. But a character that immediately comes to mind is Ent TUR EZA Future Gohan, who has the ability to have 58% damage reduction and guard, and I've seen that character get cooked. So I don't know. This guy's start of turn defense just must be way higher. Again, I want to see what this guy can do. I have kind of made up my mind. If they do the 3 paid and then they give you the 1 free summon, I think I may do a little bit of summoning for this guy. I wouldn't recommend it. Again, I would advise keep your eye on the prize for Beast Gohan, which is just like 4 months away from now. That would be the character that I'd recommend something for. If you put this guy and Beast Gohan next to each other, it's night and day who's better. But this guy is still very good though. So again, I don't want to be rude or anything. So let's carry on. He also does have a very fascinating kit right here. So the more HP remaining when this character attacks for the first time in a turn, he gets an additional attack boost up to 150%. So if you're at 100% HP when you first do an attack, boom, you get an extra 150% attack at the start of turn. That's very good. The more HP remaining the first time he receives a hit, the higher the defensive boost, up to 150%. Again, that's good, but he does have to get hit once for that to activate. And then after he gets hit 3 times, he gets fully built up defensively, 31% defense up to 80. That is good. So once you get all this, I could definitely see him being tanky. Maybe not for some of the big boss's super attacks, but you're able to transform later on. And then we already read this part of his passive. An additional, with a 70% chance to be a super, with a Goku or going up against a Goku. His transformation condition can be activated when HP is 18% or more from turn 3. That is essentially like this might as well just be turn 3. There are going to be so few occasions where you're not able to get this. It's amazing. And then his super attack effect, he raises attack and defense and then immense damage, and he seals. So Looking at this guy, he is in my opinion, the evolution of Tech Ultimate Gohan. He has guard. He is stacking. He's not greatly stacking. He's just normal stacking, but he also has his attack, so his attack is going to get very impressive. He does have a little bit of damage reduction, and he has very high defense at the start of turn. So, I think this is just, like, this guy is just definitively better Ultimate Gohan. He's going to have higher defense at the start of turn, defense as well. His links maybe might not be as, because, like, Saiyan Pride is not a very common link outside of Vegeta's Royal Lineage. But, like, Prepare for Battle, Fierce Battle, and Prodigies to an extent, I guess. You have, like, a very decent link set on this character. And again, a very easy transformation condition, which is, now you get into this guy. So, his new passive becomes 3 key and 180 to stat, so an extra 30%. He still guards. He has unconditional 18% damage reduction, which again is still very low. So I don't know how impactful this actually would be or not. He gets an additional 180% attack when HP is 30% or more when attacking, and he launches an additional attack that has a 70% chance to be a super. That's good. Just getting more and more. He no longer stacks when you're in Super Saiyan, it's just greatly raised attack and defense for one turn, but still, that's good. That's getting a lot of extra stats. Now, this is interesting. This is one of the most divisive things I have about this character, in my opinion. He gets 30% attack when the enemy is 80% or less from attacking. He gets another 30% if the enemy is 60% or less HP, and then he gets an additional 50% attack when the HP of the enemy is 40 or less. So characters who are just one phase, but it's a long fight, this guy's going to be an absolute god. The one that I can think of is the new Cell Max event, because that is just one phase. He's STR, I believe, and he has like 200 million defense. This guy just is going to constantly get stronger for the rest of the fight. But characters like the Gogeta event, you kill Super Saiyan, Tech Super Saiyan Gogeta, and then you're going up against STR Gogeta Blue. He's at 100% HP again, and then you lose out all this offensive attack. Now, none of it's defense, mind you, which matters way less, but I feel like that's such an odd mechanic for him to like be able to do such impressive offensive numbers. And I'm pretty sure this would also activate on his active skill. So, like, if the enemy has like 39% HP when you activate your active skill, the Big Bang attack, I'm pretty sure these would all activate as well. But then if you go against, again, STR Gogeta Blue, he's at 100% defense. The Big Bang is still going to do a lot of damage, but you're going to be missing out on all these extra attack buffs. From as far as I'm aware, so that is a little lame. He gets an additional 180% defense when receiving an attack. Now, as far as I have been told, this actually activates before... I know it says when receiving an attack, but I've been told he gets his defense at the start of turn. So it's a little bit misleading what this is, because when I first saw this character, I was like, oh, he's going to get hit once, not have his defense. Like, I was thinking this is kind of like the Bird Coup effect, like you get a lot of defense after you get hit once. Apparently, this is misleading. It's not when receiving an attack. It's just at the actual start of the turn. So at the start of turn, he has 360% defense. That is way better. That is way better than I thought. So you have 360% defense, guard, and 18% damage reduction. You have all your stacks and your base form. So I feel like you could actually cook with this guy. Again, I do feel like this character is very good. I feel like I underestimated him a lot. But he's still really good. And especially if, like, what I've heard is true, is that this is at the start of turn, that's way better. That way, if the very first attack on the turn is a super attack, you're not going to get caught, and that's good. And then finally, he launches an additional super attack within the same turn and disables enemy actions once within that turn after receiving an attack. So he launches a guaranteed additional super, and he gets an attack break. That's actually broken as hell, not gonna... And it's not once only, it doesn't say once only either. So, like, each turn you're attack breaking once, that's like the 7th anniversary ability with their 18 key super. Like, again, this guy can cook. But again, please keep your eye on the prize. He is good. He is very good. He is very good. But he does not help villains. So if you're a villain player, you don't need him to help you with villains. You have Corrupt Merge Zamasu. Super Saiyans doesn't really need help because right now in Global we have Kefla. Kefla can easily carry that team. And even though I think he is going to be like an absolute god in 9th anniversary content, I do think he is upon that power level. Beast Gohan, again, easily surmounts this guy. So I would really advise saving your stones. Really would. And then lastly, for his condition, can be activated once he receives 3 or more attacks or when facing one enemy whose HP is 80% or less. Massively raises the attack temporarily, destructive damage to the enemy, and then he gets crits for the turn, which is huge, especially again, if all of this is activated, you're killing, and if it isn't activated, you're launching a guaranteed additional super. you're attack breaking, you're guaranteed critting. These can proc mid-turn as well, so if the enemy is at 80% attack or 80% HP when you first attack, and you're able to whittle it down, you just get more and more and more buffs. This guy, again, he's so good. So good. And again, he was a good pick. Now, one thing I do want to say about the celebration, though, that is a bit odd, is, so, the amount of stones we can look to be getting, we're getting 12 from login, we're getting 18 because, he was, Amatsu played this goofy game, hold on, can I play part of it? Yeah, he played this goofy game where he was throwing balls trying to knock down numbers. But we were getting 18 stones from that. We were getting 33 stones from the login campaign. Let's see if I can get that. Yep, 33 from the login campaign. We are getting 27 if you beat the Super Dragon Ball history and all of its missions, as well as Burst Mode, which I think Burst Mode, if you beat all the missions, gives you 18 Dragon Stones? I don't think he necessarily specified anywhere in the video, but I'm pretty sure you normally get 18 Dragon Stones when you beat a Burst Mode in all of its missions. And then lastly, the other thing that we can expect to give us stones is the Super EZA that we talked about. It's nowhere mentioned in here how many stones you will receive as far as I am aware, but like by completing these stages, we're going to be getting stones from this. I don't know if it's going to be 30, like with a normal EZA. It would be nice if we got 33. But we're going to be able to get a lot of stones. So, again, you can either save for anniversary, or you can just use them to, like, all the stones you earn during the celebration, you can use them trying to get Vegeta. Because, again, Vegeta is going to be very impactful. My guess is that we would be getting about 150 stones, because it's 12 from the login, 18 because of the game, 33 because of the login missions, 27 from Infinite Dragon Ball history, that's what, 90 Dragon Stones? Let's say you get 18 from beating the Burst Mode. That would be 108. And then let's say you get 30 stones from beating the Super EZA. So that's 138 Dragon Stones for free. There is something that's a little bit unfortunate, because it looks like that's all we're getting. I don't believe, like, in the data download, there were no other EZA characters. Yeah, right there, the EZA Plus. These are a little bit misleading, because these are the World Tournament EZA, so apparently we're going to be having a World Tournament on Global very soon. But I feel like that's a little disappointing that, like, we're not getting another EZA. We're not getting any new difficult content. I feel like this celebration, we're going to be getting a lot of stones, but all the missions and stuff are probably going to be very easy. Like, the Infinite Dragon Ball history was Gifted Warriors and Superheroes. Like, that's not going to be hard at all. Superheroes, or excuse me, Super Saiyans. Super Saiyans, like, again, that's like the most powerful team right now in Global. You have Kefla, you have the 13 Trio, you have Birdku, you have SSJ2 Gohan, you have Sword of Hope, you have Future Gohan, Gifted Warriors as well, like any relevant Vegeta, and I believe Golden Freezes are also on that team. It's not going to be a problem. But it feels like it's not a lot of content for such a big celebration, because last year for Golden Week, when we got God Goku, or I mean, not Golden Week, Sand Day, when we got God Goku, well, no, because that's when we got, like, all the EZAs, that's when we, all the sub-EZAs for all the God Gokus, Super Saiyan Gokus came out, like, the Wii sub-EZAs were all during that celebration as well, like, a lot of stuff happened then. We're only getting 3 new characters, and I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they'll add more. I don't know. But apparently we're getting a World Tournament, so maybe it would be for the best if they don't do that, so we can grind some of these medals up. It'll be nice to get Pilaf in the game. I think this is a really good free-to-play LR. But that's going to be all for this time. That's everything to look forward to. So again, if you do summon, I'm not going to say that you're a buffoon, but I would advise saving for Future Gohan, because it is just like 4 months away, 4 or 5 months away. You're going to have the best character in the game with some of the best animations, and that is something that we deserve to get a very long time ago, so you're going to want that character. I don't think this guy even compares to any of the anniversary LRs we got. Like, he's not better than the Gammas, he's not better than Broly, he is not better than Gogeta. So even if you don't want to necessarily summon for Beast, when you're summoning for this guy, think about any of those other characters who you could theoretically be getting, and is it really worth it? He doesn't help villains. Just think about it. And this is coming from a Vegeta fanboy. Vegeta is my favorite character. Always has, always will be. But he doesn't help villains. So if you are having trouble with villain missions, he doesn't link well with them. He would pretty much have to carry them, except, oh wait, what villain team is he on? Android Cell Saga? What are you going to run him with? All the androids? I guess you could. Pure Saiyans, that's a super class team. Superclass team. Battle of Wits, I mean, there were a couple of villains on there. Gifted Warriors, I mean, I guess. Mastered Evolution that has, like, Golden Frieza's, and that's about it. And then Transformation Boost has a lot of villains on it as well. So I guess a villain Transformation Boost team, you could plop this guy on. He's not going to link well or anything, but he would be a good slot 1 option. But he is not a villain buff. He does not hold a candle to what the power of the 9th anniversary LRs are capable of. He is on par with that content, but right now that content isn't on global. So is anybody who was playing during the worldwide download celebration, has anyone not beaten Fusion Zamasu or beaten any of the missions? No. I guarantee you everyone right now is just waiting for us to get something new or difficult. It will be fun to run this guy against Fusion Zamasu. It'll be fun to run him against Omega, but I feel like he's definitely above their power level. Like, he just is. I don't even think it'll really be fun, because he'll just destroy them. So I don't know. But yeah, that's going to be all for this time, guys. I've been the SweetBro27. I'm a variety Twitch streamer and an up-and-coming YouTuber trying to make it big in the world. I have a Twitter, a Twitch, a TikTok, and a YouTube, the links of which can all be found in the description of this video. And while you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, share me around, and leave me a comment, positive, negative, or indifferent. Let me know, what do you think about this whole Golden Week celebration? Are you going to summon for Vegeta? Are you going to say for Anniversary? Or are you a JP player? Like, let me know. I love it when you guys interact, and yeah. But that will be all for now, I think. So, as always, I've been the SweetBro27, and I am signing off.